I'll be honest with you. Like after that situation, I battled like mental health. Can honestly say I was probably going through like depression. Yeah, bro, I was in a dark place, like very, very dark place. I started writing the first song that I ever released called Ride or Die.
Promise you that I'm gonna ride no matter what. I'm by your side. No more ego, no more pride. In my heart's where you confide. I'll never cheat, I'll never lie. Believe in me, girl, I'm that guy. Have no fear, I will provide. I promise you will touch the sky.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Backrow Boys. We're here with another fire episode. And hey, guys, I got a really special guest. I got my boy, the one, the only, Jicky Kuruvilla. Guys,
What's good? What's good?
what's up, Jick? How you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I mean, chilling out. I feel honored that you're here, man.
I'm honored to be here. I've never been able to be a back row boy. My parents always made me sit front row. So I was up there next to the urchin, bro. I always look back at the back row like, man, one day,
One day.
one day, I'm gonna get back there, bro.
The weird thing is, I would always look at you guys in the front. It's like, can I come up there?
Please, can you scoot over a little
Please,
bit?
please. Well, guys, just like I said, this is our boy Jicky. Thank you for joining us on this episode, bro. Like, we are so happy to have you, bro. And I kind of want to give you a huge shout out to your backdrop. You're the first guest that has an amazing little setup in this episode.
Yeah, H Town. So a while ago, before I moved and did all that, I was building out my studio. My brother moved out of the house. We had a spare bedroom. So I moved into his bedroom, turned my old bedroom into a studio. And so I started painting the walls. Started doing all this stuff. And then in the midst of all that, I was like, got the bright idea to move out. And I was like, well, that was all a waste, but I'm sure I'll finish it eventually. It needs to get done.
Well, hey, man, it's looking nice. I can't say that Houston itself is a nice city, but hey, the backdrop is looking nice. So,
It's a beautiful skyline, baby. Don't hate, don't hate, don't
oh man.
hate.
And Jig, you and I go way back, bro. Like I think a lot of the viewers don't know our relationship a little bit, but I mean, for all the back row boy universe out there, I just want y'all to know me and Jig are friends, but we're actually more than friends. We're actually blood.
More
Oh,
than
sorry,
friends.
guys.
Friends with, oh, wait, pause, pause.
Friends with a
Nah,
little bit
yeah,
of benefits.
we
No, but
no, I feel like everybody that knows us, I feel like knows we're related at this point. All my people know that you're my people,
yeah,
but maybe there's some viewers out there that don't have the
yeah, yeah.
history. But yeah, we family over everything. You know what I'm saying?
We got the blood, same blood flowing through us. So
Same blood, same good looks, same,
what are
you
the
know what I'm
kids doing
saying?
today? Is this
Everything.
what they're doing? Oh, this. Sorry. I was like, oh yeah. I think that was for something else. So,
I was like, what's in your blood, bro?
but man. So yeah, Jake. I mean, you and I, we've had. I mean, even though you're in Houston when you were growing up, I was in Dallas growing up, but our parents did a pretty good job, like always like getting us together, hanging out and stuff like that. Like, I mean,
For
what's some?
sure.
I mean, what's some? You remember like some of the fun times we had? Like, I always remember for some reason the Fast and the Furious series. I don't know why, but that always
Dude,
comes on.
not even the whole series. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
that one specifically, I think I had that one on DVD,
Yeah.
and like every time y'all came over, I feel like we'd be like, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" And we just watch it every time. But no, great
Exactly.
series. R.I.P. Paul Walker. That's one of my favorite movies of
Yeah.
all time. But yeah, man, childhood was crazy. Like you said, our parents did a pretty good job of, even though we lived 4 hours apart. We
Yeah.
we would all, I feel like we saw each other pretty frequently growing up. And man, we've come a long way. If some of those old photos get resurfaced,
Dude.
geez, the glow up is real. The
Yeah,
glow up
exactly.
is real, bro.
My
But
God. I'm telling
nah,
you,
great
some of those
memories.
pictures are just so terrible. And like, I think the older we got, we started making, more of an effort. I remember I would come randomly, just like in my Honda Civic down to Houston and
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
like Joel, Toby, Betson, like everybody would just be in the back of the car and say, hey, let's go to Houston this weekend.
Yeah,
And man,
facts, bro. Because I feel like our parents started getting a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if it's lazy or just, like life caught up with them. So like I feel like when we got to like high schoolish, those like parties started like dying down a little bit.
right.
But then we would make an effort. Like we used to have all these tournaments that I used to come to Dallas for,
Yeah.
like Rands and shout out shout out shout out Nigel and then all these random tournaments I go to Dallas for, and I'd stay with y'all, and it would always just be a good time, bro. I remember like
Yeah.
sneaking out, SOing out of the SOing out of the house. Parents, if you're watching, we used to sneak out of the house in the middle of the
Oh,
night and
do you remember what I
mainly go to IHOP. IHOP was our
Maybe it's not
spot.
IHOP.
Good memories, bro.
Remember how we used to like I had to like slightly open the garage and you had to roll under the garage and then get in the car.
You're like, shh. And then you always had that side door in the bathroom too. That was just like such a random place to have a door to go outside, straight from the cacus to the backyard.
It's like, hey,
But now
that was the second bathroom. Everyone need to go outside and take care of their business. So
great memories, bro. But I feel like I only got to do stuff like that like when I came to Dallas. So I used to always look forward to coming to Dallas. I feel like anytime I got a chance or any kind of reason, the smallest reason to go to Dallas, I would go.
right.
But yeah, it was always great time, man. Great memories. Shout out to our family, man.
You know, another reason we always got together too back in the day was weddings. Like our older like cousins would get married. And dude,
For
that was like
sure.
some of the funnest times, bro. Because as kids, like, I mean, we weren't like into like drinking or anything at that time. We were literally just like hanging out with each other, play video games,
For
like
sure.
make jokes with each other. Like it was just hilarious, just us like goof around with each other. You want to explain what you invented at the weddings we were at? Our famous pre-alcohol drink.
So we would this had to be when we were like 8, 9. I was like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
We were at a wedding, all of our older cousins. Now there's a huge age difference between us and our older cousins, right? Not huge, but pretty significant. So
Right.
like it was our age, and then we had our chachas and chachis who were maybe like 10 years older than us, 10,
Right.
12 years older than us, and they were the ones getting married. So we're always at these weddings. Our parents are getting lit, everybody else is getting lit, and we're just like this little kid table that nobody paid attention to.
Yeah.
And so we were just in the back acting a fool, acting like some goondas. And then we have an aunt. Y'all heard of Susie Cakes. We have an auntie named Susie Mama. So we called her a Susie Shake in tribute of her.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But it was just a concoction we made with everything, bro. Like everything we could find at the table: ketchup, salt, butter,
Yep.
bread, pieces, like everything, bro. And that lives on to this day, man. That's a core memory for sure. Core memory.
Do you remember I think one wedding we couldn't find a cup for some reason, so we used the candle and we just started the salt, everything was like burning. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then we started getting older, and Ricky, my brother Ricky, was always like a pyromaniac. So he would love to set things on fire. We'd be in the back just lighting napkins on fire, like damn near about to burn the wedding down.
Oh man, bro. Okay. I'm telling you, man, those memories will always be in my
For
mind.
sure.
Like we'll just think about that Susie shake and we just start cracking up laughing. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, bro. It's just like such simpler times, bro. Like sometimes I'll even think back, like, man, like I remember like people growing up were like, man, enjoy this time. You have no responsibilities, you have nothing to worry about. I never really understood what that meant.
Right.
But it's like, man, what a simple time in life where all you had to worry about was like, I guess going to school and getting good grades. But other than that,
Dude.
is like live your life, enjoy, make memories. I wish we could go back, bro.
Yeah,
I wish we could go back.
Do you feel like now these days, like kids like live a different lifestyle in a sense where it's not as simple as before, or do you think it's a different time for them?
Man, I honestly feel so bad for this generation and like the generation coming up, because it's so hard for them to be satisfied with anything because of social media, bro. Social media can be used as like a great tool, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like for the kid, for the 15, 14-year-old kid that's just scrolling through Instagram, that's like comparing their life to what they see on Instagram, it's like they feel like they're never enough. Like I'm 15 years old. This crypto kid just made $1 billion. What am I doing at 50? You know, it's like, how can you ever feel like you're enough? Versus us, like the best thing we had was like AIM. You know, like we never got to see each other. We would just message each other. But like honestly, bro, I think I prefer those times more.
Yeah, man.
Because like I remember like every meeting was so special. Like every conference, every retreat, every tournament, every family event was so special because this would be the only time that we got to see each other. But now it's like FaceTime somebody and you're, you know, so people don't really like miss people, or people don't really cherish each other's presence in the way that they used to before.
Right.
I remember those days, man. I wish we could go back, but it is what it is.
I think about those times all the time. Just like how like I wish we can just time travel back and just watch ourselves. Like,
yeah,
like look at that guy. Like, oh my god, look at how like, you know, crazy we used to do things or whatever. But like Like, man, like I think the same way, man. Like these kids today are just they're not gonna experience what we get experience. And like you
Yeah.
mentioned tournaments, for example, like those
Yeah.
were yeah, we would practice and like try to beat your teams in the tournament. Like we would try. But those are always the times where like, man, like it's a time to like make some new friends, meet new people, like
Yeah.
simple things like we would go. This is how you met girls and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
this is like like the ultimate like social media platform. That was like the beginning point
Facts.
for us.
Facts.
So
It was so much more genuine. You know what I mean? Now it's like, what people don't say. You go somewhere, you go to the Grand Canyon, you're seeing it for the first time. People are not taking it in for like what it is. They're taking it in for like, let me post and let people know that I'm having a good time. And
dude,
it's like you don't really truly enjoy it. It's like, how can I get the best story? How can I get the best picture so I can show off instead of like just truly. And man, I took a social media break a few months back, and like that's one thing that I know, because I fell victim to it too. Is like I remember like doing everything for the story rather than just like truly enjoying it. I miss the days when we could just like AIM used to be my best friend, bro. AIM, I used to have so much game on AIM because it's like, like I was a typewriting king, bro. I would talk so much AIM, and I remember specifically like whenever, especially when I would talk to girls in Dallas. I remember, I'm not gonna say any names, but I remember I was talking to this girl from Dallas. I think it was the Rands tournament that I
okay.
was coming up for. And I was like, we got to make the most of this weekend, da da da. We don't get to see each other too often. I'm gonna come up and you're gonna be at the tournament too. Like we got to do this and that and that. And then when it came to the tournament, she came up to me and said hello, and I just froze, bro. I was like, I wasn't ready for this. This is not what I signed up for.
Like, oh,
But
hi.
nah, yeah, bro, such simpler times. You just appreciated everything more.
Yeah,
You
man.
would you would look forward to the people that you barely get to see, but now it's like, I see that fool all the time.
Yeah, and it's so true, man. Like with everyone's like, you can follow anyone on any platform now. They'll be posting their stuff. You'll be posting your stuff. It's like it feels like we already know everything about each other. And like
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, sometimes I'll go to like random events or whatever, and it feels like, oh, I know that person. That person, be, oh, I know you too. It's like,
yeah, yeah,
well, the mystery is gone in that situation. Like just
yeah,
meeting
yeah.
and stuff. So
Exactly. No facts. But there's so many people that like I know that we probably like follow each other on socials, but we've never like actually met.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, everything just used to be so much more genuine too. It's like now people do everything on social media just for attention, whether it's a positive story or a negative story. They just want the attention. So like
exactly.
everything used to be so much more it's so much more genuine because nobody was flexing for anything. Like everybody was just their true, genuine selves.
Wait, one line you said, "Aim was your game." So could that be a song title for you in the future? Like,
they had they had "Kiss Me Through the Phone." I got to do something
yeah, there
similar
you
with
go.
like AIM.
There you go. That was the new. Yeah.
Gave me through AIM, baby. Gave me
Well,
through AIM.
hey, to all the Backrow Boy fans out there, a little. I mean, you guys may already know Jicky more than me just saying all this stuff, but Jicky dropped 2 albums back in the day. And when I say day, like what 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever.
Yeah,
Not
something like that.
but like, tell
Yeah,
me the process, bro. Like, how was that feeling of making those albums? And like, are you still like, I know you're writing a little bit and stuff like that. Is there anything
yeah.
possible we can see in the future in a sense?
I definitely want to say so. Music back in the so yeah, I guess just like a little preface, like you said, like music was never anything that was on my mind. It was never like I knew when I was a kid that like I had a decent voice and I could sing or whatever, but I never thought it would make it past like my shower, like or singing in choir or whatever it might be. Basketball was my passion. That's where I put all my energy, all my focus. That's where I thought like that's all I really cared about, right? I stumbled on music. It's gonna sound so cliche, but when I was a sophomore in college, I was just going through relationship struggles. You know what I'm saying? That like everybody goes through, and I want to say like that was my first real like heartbreak, man. That like I really felt it, and this was when I was a super senior in college. So like my fifth year in college, most
Okay.
of my homies had already like graduated, so I was living alone at the time. And like us as men, like when you're going through something, it's like you kind of keep it to yourself, like you don't want to be that guy that's always moping around and like telling everybody their problems. So I'm like sitting in my apartment alone. I'm going to school alone. Like I'm kind of just like dealing with it solo. And yeah, like music really was just like my therapist. Like the only way for me to get out what I was feeling was to like like music was the way that I was able to express what I was feeling without like being able to actually say it. And like, especially with that particular relationship, I never got closure. Like we never had a conversation. I never got to say my piece. So there was always so much left hanging. For me, it was like, okay, I never got to say these things to her. Let me like put it in a song and like get it off my chest that way. And bro, like surprisingly, because I'll be honest with you, like after that situation, I battled like mental health. I mean, I wasn't diagnosed, but I can honestly say I was probably going through like depression. Yeah, bro, I was in a dark place, like very, very dark place. I started writing the first song that I ever released called Ride or Die. I think I wrote like a verse and maybe like the hook. And I didn't think anything of it. I just literally wrote it in a journal and like I was like, cool. I found like a beat on YouTube and I was like, okay, cool. And the way I got to like recording it was Dylan. If you guys don't know, Chef Dylan Rajan, shout outs to him, man. Like he's responsible for a lot of my music and me just finding my love for music. But it was his birthday. For those of y'all don't know, he's a music engineer and he's worked with like the biggest names in the industry: Scott Storch, YG, Lil Wayne, huge guys. But I hit him up. I was like, "Happy birthday, whatever." I was like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And he was like, "Man, I don't know. I'll probably go out. Why don't you slide through to the studio?" I'd never been to a studio before. I'd never known what that looked like, but so I was curious. I was like, "Yeah, for sure." So I pulled up on him. It was me, him, my friend Apu, and I was like, yeah, like, what do you want to do? And then he was like, why don't you go in there and like record something? And I was like, what do you want me to record? And at first I was just gonna like record like a cover of a song that I liked, but Apu was the one that was like, he knew about the song that I started writing. He was like, why don't you just see how that comes out? Yeah. So I recorded that night, the verse and the hook, and both of them after that were like, yo, you gotta finish this song. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And that was like the first time I felt like outside of basketball, that's the first time I felt like validation for something. That's the first time that I felt like, oh, I created something that other people think is cool. And like that's the first taste I got of it. I went back and I finished the song. I hit up Dylan. I was like, yo, can we record it? And we ended up finishing it and did a little bit of promo for it and then released it. And I like still remember this like it was yesterday. Wow. We were at Upu's house and it was a Saturday morning and I was so nervous to like release this. By release the song, I mean like post a link on my Facebook or like post a link on my Instagram. Yeah, not anything crazy. But I posted and I threw my phone. I was like, yeah, like I'll be done with it. You know, if they hate it, whatever, it's cool. Like I'll just be a fool, whatever. And then my phone just started blowing up. Like I just kept getting notifications, and I was like, wow, like it really just fed like like it just validated me. And I was like, dang, like maybe it is good. Like maybe this could be something. And then that's when I really like found my love for making music. And then from there, that's just like where it continued into an album and a few more singles and things like that. But I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but yeah, definitely hoping to like get back into it soon.
You know, one thing I love that you mentioned, I love the honesty. I love that what you dealt with, like where you say you weren't diagnosed, but you dealt with like you felt that mental strain on your mind of just like thinking about, and the music was your outlet. Like,
yeah.
What would you tell young people today or people that are watching right now? Like, what are some ways they can kind of tackle their mental, they're struggling with depression or mental health or just like something that they're just always down with? Because what we talked about earlier is that with social media, like now these 15-year-olds are like struggling to like, oh my God, I'm not even making this much money, or I'm not doing this with my life, or I'm getting there like all these other people. And trust me, I'll be admit it too. Like I've struggled with that too. It's like I'll jump on social media and see like this dude is doing this well. Oh my gosh, she's doing so well. Oh my God, where am I at right now? And so you know all this stuff, but like what would you tell young people like that you had that avenue in a sense, maybe someone who doesn't have the avenue, or what would you tell people in a sense?
Man, I mean, the best advice, and honestly, like I'm not a professional. I think it's becoming a lot more popular, which I think is great for people to go seek help and like seek therapy. For me at the time, that wasn't an option. You know, like for me at the time when I was going through this mental health, I mean, like going to therapy and seeking mental health for this was like very, very taboo. You know, we especially in the religious background that we come from, like most people would tell you like just pray about it, you know, like it'll be okay, just pray about it. And I'm not saying that's not the answer. I definitely think you should pray with it. I think a relationship with God will help you, but I also think that God has put resources in our life for us to use, you know what I'm saying? So like the best advice I can give to anybody is like don't bottle it up, get it out somehow. For me it was through music. For you it might be poetry, it might be art, it might be just talking it out to somebody, or starting a podcast, you know, or of other people that you feel like are can relate to your issues. It helps a lot. It helps take a lot of the burden off of you when you feel like you're not the only one going through this. or the only one that's been through this, you know? And so when you feel like other people have been there, man, it really like eases the load. But don't be afraid to get it out, man. Don't let your ego be the reason why you get to a breaking point. You know, that's the best advice I can give.
And that's solid advice, bro, because like at the end of the day, like I know for a fact, even if I haven't heard from others or heard it from like the crowds of people, it's like you just know that everyone has their own struggles in their mind. Everyone's like has something that they're dealing with, like they feel like
Yeah.
their flaws are in the way or something. But like it's so important for people to go out there and just really like talk to someone. It could be
Facts.
someone older, someone younger, someone their age, whoever, or even like you said, like counseling, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, and like we're not the only ones going through something. And it might feel
Yeah.
like those times, but dude, that's what's up, bro. Like I really appreciate
Yeah.
you.
No, and I think a lot of it comes back to social media too, is like, I think we're obviously like old enough to like realize this, but man, kids coming up, they're probably scrolling through Instagram and they just see everybody's highlights. They see everybody's life highlights. You know, they're so like in their head when they're going through you know, a tough time in their life and they scroll through Instagram and everybody else is having fun, everybody else is living their best life. It feels like, dang, this is just happening to me. So and so is just like out there having a great time and can live their life. Why am I the only one going through this? So I think that's the big, like, man, we have to realize like we've been struggling with the same issues, like the human condition issues, since the days of the Bible, bro. You open the Bible up and we're struggling with the same things.
Yeah.
So understand that you're not the only person going through this. Like everybody has probably gone through like what you've gone through. So like talk it out, get some advice, find some trusted people around you that you feel like truly are there for your well-being,
Yeah.
that you can trust.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about your parents, because obviously I know your
Mhm.
parents really well. We're family, you know, probably one of my favorite uncle and aunt combo in our family. I'm hoping no one else heard this in our family. But I was curious, like, what did your parents think about when you got into music, and like that was like something that you wanted to really kind of pursue, if it's on the side or you know albums? Like, did their friends like reach out to them? It's like, oh my God, did you hear your son's songs? You know, like,
Man, I have the best parents, bro. Like they were very supportive. I think it was happening at a time where I was like I said, it was my senior year of school. So they knew that I was gonna get my degree. So they knew this wasn't like me dropping out of school and dropping my plan A to go pursue this. So I think as long as I got my degree and I got a job and I was doing this on the side, they were cool with it. But man, they love it. You know, my parents have been pushing me to sing at like, you know, in front of people on stages forever. You know,
Mhm.
since I was a kid, my mom was like, oh, you know, like I've always had a vision, I've had a dream that you're like, she thought I was going to get into like the praise and worship team and stuff. So like she was like being at church and leading people, and yeah, so they've been very supportive. They love to see me doing it. And actually my mom's the one that's like on my ass now, that's like, yo, why don't you put out more music? Like, where have you been? Like, why are you not doing this? So she's the one that's actually like been on it. But yeah, super supportive, man. But
Yeah.
like I'm blessed to have parents that like no matter what it was, they would let me do it, you know?
Oh, 100%. I mean, your parents were like those parents that are always at every single one of y'all's, like you and Ricky's like basketball tournaments, like you know, Bible competition, whatever it was for you guys. I
Yeah.
mean, they were there for you guys. Like
No,
that's
facts.
support, bro. So
Bro, my dad, when I was in high school, I was playing ball all through high school, and like my games would be like sometimes like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. My
mhm,
dad never missed a game, bro.
yeah.
Never ever missed a game. He would drive and always be there. So yeah, shout outs to my parents, man. Like the most supportive, loving parents I could ask for.
Man,
Yeah.
shout out to Uncle and Auntie, bro. They're killing
Real
it.
talk.
So and they're still at Emmanuel Martha Church, right? They still go there?
They go there, man. So that's another thing I really appreciate them for. When you get so deeply involved into one denomination, like you start to practice religion more than like your actual faith.
Mhm.
And one thing that my parents have really taught us is like, we don't care. I mean, obviously, we'd love for you to go to Emmanuel and get the fellowship. We have our friends or family there, but you need to seek your relationship with God, no matter where it comes from. So my parents will go to Emmanuel Martha Church and tithe and give and support Emmanuel Martha Church like crazy, but they'll every once in a while like go to other churches as well that they like the praise and worship there, or they really like the sermon there. You know, so they're really big on that. But yeah, they never miss a Sunday, no matter what. Even for us, like even if we're out of town in another country, they're like, "Hey, go to church," and I'm like, "I'm in Cancun right now, cuz."
Yeah. I can go to the beach for a little bit and then get on my knees. No, but we are big on that on the podcast, bro. Like, you know, we don't really talk about like religion, but we talk about having a relationship with God and just like, you
Yeah,
know,
I think that's the most important thing, bro.
Yeah.
honestly.
So got out of college, had your degree, put out a couple albums. When you put out your album stuff, like how was the reception in your personal life? Like what was that like? I mean, you already were big and like, you know, in a sense, like you were just Jicky Kuruvilla. Like you and Ricky
Yeah.
were like Ricky and Jicky, like, you know, like big time names in our communities and throughout every denomination in a sense. But like after those albums came out, did you feel like what these people know me a little bit more? Like how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean that's something I was very aware of. Honestly, like it did affect me. That's on me more than anybody else. I have to realize that like the reaction to my music is gonna be the reaction,
Mm.
and I have to have the mental fortitude to be able to move past anything. And so I was in a space where like I was getting a lot of love, bro. Like honestly, like love the support. That's the blessing of the Malayali community, bro. It's like they're gonna support you. They want to see people in our community doing something different and succeeding, right? But I could get like 100 comments of like love, but I would hear one, not even negative, bro. It would just be like one little thing. And that would like sit in my head and it would just grow and grow and grow. And it was like, man, I had to get to a place and that's where I'm kind of at now is like building that mental toughness to be able to take the good with the bad,
Mhm.
but it's tough, man. Any kind of art that you put out into the world for people to see, like especially when it's coming from a place of realness, is like you're in a vulnerable place, bro. You're putting in yourself in a place to be criticized, and you have to be ready for that. But man, thank God, like I got great reception. I really didn't know how people were gonna take it because, like you said, like I was known as a basketball guy. Like nobody ever knew me for music. And so when I was first putting out music, I think that was kind of I had nothing to lose. Nobody ever expected, there was no expectation for my music. So like even if I put out like a sorry song, like people were just like, yeah, well, he plays ball. Like then I started putting out music and people like started saying it was good. So then I started putting it like I put this pressure on myself, like, dang, like I can't fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta keep meeting this standard. And then the pressure just started getting bigger and bigger. And that's what I'm kind of like dealing with now is like learning to overcome and like stop worrying about everybody else and do this because I love to make art and I love to make music. Forget about the reward. Just do it because that's what you love to do.
Dude, it's so true, man. I mean, because like as much as we have those like 100 people or 100,000 people that love us, there's always like those small group of people that just like does
Yeah,
not want to see us succeed. They don't want to see us
yeah,
move forward and stuff like that. And then
yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that comes with the territory, right? Like haters, you
Facts.
gotta love your haters too, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, man. It's like I wouldn't even call it hate. It's more of like little critiques, right? And I'll give you an example. I was in the studio waiting for a session, and this random guy who's plugged into the industry, he had worked with a couple artists back in the day, so I was like really excited to like meet this guy. And he was like, "Let me hear some of your stuff." I was like, "Cool." So I played him some stuff, and he was like, "Dang, bro, this is damn near Disney." And in my head, I'm like, "What?
what?
Are you saying like like I took it as an insult, like not it like I didn't get offended, but I was just like, dang, like I guess I see what it means. Like it's really like PG-13, it's real. And I was very conscious of that. But he was like, no, 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 I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant it in a way of like it's very marketable. Disney is like one of the, it's like very radio, it's very mainstream. But then when I heard that, all I could think in my head was like, your music's corny, your music's corny, your music's corny. But at the same time, bro, it's like I don't want to say that we were like these guys, but like I became very aware that like I was a role model. You know what I'm saying? Like not through music, but through like basketball. And I'm sure we always looked up to our chachans. I
Yeah,
had chachans that like when they were hooping, I was like, dang, I want to do everything that they do. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like that's the guy. And I didn't think about it growing up, but it wasn't until I became, a little bit older that I was like, dang, like these kids really like look up to you, and they're watching what you do.
Sure.
And so when I was making my music, I was very aware of that. I was very conscious. And so like when you go back and you listen to my music now, like I put out I think 15 songs. Out of 15 songs, you'll maybe hear three cuss words.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
saying that you need a cuss to have like successful music, but like I felt like I was filtering myself because I just didn't want to give the wrong message or the wrong idea. I still wanted to be the best role model to these kids, but
Mhm.
I realized like that came at the sacrifice of me putting out like my realist art. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to put out more mature content. Like I wanted to talk about like the realness of it, and I wanted to be like, you know, unfiltered. That's another reason why I felt like I needed to step away and you know, get away from that role, just like because I just felt like I had all these eyes on me and it was affecting my creativity.
And I mean, and that's a big thing too, because like the more genuine you come off, like that people can relate to that, and they can be
Yeah,
like, whoa, like I'm feeling
yeah,
that
yeah.
thing too. One thing you mentioned was the word Disney, and I was just like, wait a minute, is that another slang word? Because is that a little term that I don't know yet? Because hey,
You didn't teach me that one.
teach me that one yet. For the ones that don't know what we're talking about. So if I'm at a random party, or if I'm a random conversation or whatever it is, Jicky is my go-to guy to be like, hey, what does this word mean? Or hey, what does that mean? For example, I remember I called you for cap. I was like, hey, bro, what does cap mean? Someone just say no cap. And then like I didn't. Are they about to shoot up the place, or what are they doing?
Should I leave? Am I safe? Am I in danger?
Should I get out of here? And then you taught me that word, and then I remember FaceTiming one day for like smack or slaps, like
Smack and slap. I was like, you were like, what's the difference between that smacks and that slaps?
yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm eating
I'm your urban dictionary, bro.
exactly. And dude,
Your urban dictionary.
it'd be the most random place, and I'll FaceTime and you'll pick up. You're like, dude, I'm kind of busy right now, but it's Max. Go with Max.
You'll be good, bro.
You be good. You be good.
Guys, this food smacks.
It's like, where did you go, Eb? Like, you wouldn't. Who were you on the phone with?
Did you just come out of the bathroom? Did you eat your food in the bathroom?
Sir, who talked in the bathroom?
Nah, yeah.
Dude,
You gotta be, bro. You gotta you gotta always keep your ear to the streets. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know what's popping.
Yeah, exactly. We could always be known what's popping, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What's
like, yeah,
popping,
yeah.
as you say.
Oh man, bro. Okay, so you grew up in Houston, obviously. You know, H down. What is it? H down, stay down. Is that what your kids call it these days out there?
I forgot what it was. H-Town. I forget what it was. I said something like that before, and I was like, that's not right.
You got
H-Town stays down.
you guys have 2 World Series championships. I was actually with you when the Astros won. We were at Sherwin's wedding, and then
That I sure went in Supna, bro.
yeah, bro. I guess
Yes, sir.
charms. So.
We had to get that second one, bro. Just to that first one, we had an asterisk next to it, so we got to get that. You know, we got to solidify it. But
Yeah, now you guys are
here we
good.
are, baby. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
2-time champion. And it's crazy because I mean, I only follow baseball during World Series time. And it's like at that wedding, bro, everyone was like so in their phones. They were just like, man, like they're gonna win it, they're gonna win it. And I was like, I don't know, don't get your hopes up, guys. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But dude, that city was insane, bro. And
Yeah, bro. And it's a city thing. I'll be honest, I'm not a baseball fan. You know what I'm saying? It's a city thing. It's like you're putting on for the city and
yeah,
you want to see the city win. But yeah, man, everybody rallies behind it. I was there the first time we won. I was at the watch party at Minute Maid and bros, because they won in LA.
yeah,
And I remember being here and it was just, the city was crazy that night, bro. It was crazy.
man.
But yeah, glad we got it done.
There you go. Yeah, so from Houston, you got 2-time world champions. But I remember you and I talked about you wanted to possibly move out of Houston and go out to LA. And I remember you and I talked about it. I think it was, I don't know, one of my birthday get together when you and Rick and Monica came. But I told you, I was like, you should do it, man. Like you should get out, do your own thing. And you now live in LA. And what's that been like, bro?
It's been up and down, bro. Like it's been a journey, I'll say that, and it's been a lot of growth and a lot of self improvement. The background behind that is like, so after I released my album back in 2017, I went on a road trip just to kind of, I was like, man, I'm done with the music. I quit my job at the time, so I like saved up some money. I had all this time, and I was like, man, I need to get out of Houston, because at the same time I was still struggling with that relationship stuff and the mental health stuff. Right. I was like, I need to just get out of Houston, man. I need to clear my head. And so I was just like, I'm just going to go on a road trip. And I had no plans. I was just like, I'm just going to drive. Right. And so I literally got in my car and I just started driving. And basically I went on a road trip for like almost a month, bro. And I was like just living out of my car at certain times. But then at certain times, bro, like God just, man, I think that's when like I really saw God work. It's just like he just placed things during that road trip just like in my favor, and I was like, there's no way that like coincidence would just work these things out. Right. You know what I mean? But anyways, one of the stops on my road trip was LA, and my producer at the time, his name was Colby, he was living in LA, and I was like, yo, can I crash on your couch for, a couple days? And he was like, yeah, for sure, no problem. So I crashed with him, and we're in LA a couple days. We're making music, and I'm just like going through the city. We're doing hikes, and I just like fell in love with the energy of the city. It was like every, everybody was like on the same time as me. Like here, it's like it's different. Like everyone in LA is a struggling something. You know what I'm saying? Like is a struggling actor, is a struggling influencer, is a struggling artist, whatever it might be. So it's like
Right.
it's very you're meeting people that's very relatable to what you're going through. And so that was back in 2017. I was like, man, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna move here one day. And I remember since 2017, I was saying it, and I was like telling everybody, and it took forever. But like life happened. Stopped thinking about it, and then I started working. I got corporate and just started going down that path. And then I remember somebody had reminded me that like I always said I was going to go to LA, and I was like, dang, why did I ever do that?
Mhm.
And so I just got tired of like doing the same thing. Like I just felt like I never got to experience life outside of Houston other than like vacations.
Right.
And so I was just like, I need a new adventure. Like that's really what it was. I was like, I need a new adventure. And I wasn't set on LA. Like at the time, I was thinking about all these different cities I could move. I was thinking about Chicago, Miami, Portland, Scottsdale, like all because like I had a job that's fully remote. So I had the option to do those things.
Right.
So then I moved to LA because I was just like, man, if there's even a little part of you that wants to scratch that itch of doing music and seeing what that's like LA just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So I moved to LA, and it's been a learning experience through and through. I mean, even like just challenged, and I kind of put that on myself because I asked to be challenged. Like I felt like in Houston, I wasn't growing, and
Right.
that's one thing like I would encourage so many people to do, bro, is like get out of your hometown. Like, even if it's for a year, whatever it might be, like get out of your comfort zone. It's going to force yourself to grow. You're going to experience so many different things. Is it all going to be fun? No. Are you going to get lonely? Yes, 100%. But it's like, you've got to put yourself in tough situations to come out like stronger. And so like, that's definitely what I'm going through now. I mean, you did it when you were in Atlanta for like a year, right?
Yep.
And so that was your first time away from Texas?
That was the first time, man. And that was a huge risk on my part too, because like, I mean, when I left college, it was my job. And then like that company was closing down in Dallas, and they're like, hey, but we can move you guys to Atlanta, all paid for, you're good to go, you get a place, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I remember, dude, like I remember talking to my parents. I remember talking to a few older people, and they were like, go. Like, what
Yeah.
are you waiting for? Exactly what you said, bro. I never left Dallas. I mean, went to school in Denton, which is like an hour from our home, but like,
Yeah.
bro, I learned so much just going there because we had I had an older friend tell me, it's like, Ebby, whatever we do every weekend here is gonna still keep happening, but you can
Right.
go out there and experience so many more other people, other things. And I'm sure
Yeah.
that's what you got to experience too. I'm sure you've
For
met so many
sure.
people so far, so many different
Yeah.
connections. So yeah.
Bro, it's been crazy. Like the amount of people I've got to meet, like,
Yeah.
bro, I've got to meet like Dwayne Wade, like Gabrielle Union,
Yeah.
Neo, like, and like I'm not like passing through. Like, bro, I was like in a dressing room with Neo. Like I was a part of his entourage for a night. Like I've got to be in sections with like massive influencers. Like it's been a crazy roller coaster, and that's like the good part. But man, I would be lying if I said that there weren't days where it's tough, bro. Like
Yeah.
especially me, and I know you're the same way. Like I love people. I love my people. And to be away from them is like tough.
Mhm.
Like not even like my family, it's my friends. And like that's one thing that I noticed, especially I'm coming up on a year now. In January, at the end of January, it'll be 1 year in LA. And I think this whole year, like I was like, even though I moved to LA, I felt like I was still like super super concerned about what's going on in Houston. Like
Right.
Houston was still home, and even though I was in LA, I wasn't investing in LA. I was still like just looking at home. And so that's like one thing that I want to make a point in this next year is like, just invest in LA. If you're going to be in LA, be in LA, bro.
Mhm.
And really like enjoy your time there. And I was looking at all like the negative parts of it, like man, so and so is getting married and I can't be there. So and so is proposing and I can't be there. I'm missing birthday parties. I'm missing this. These are my friends. I'm missing such important events in their life, and just like little things, like I kept missing. But now it's like you said, bro, like it's always going to be there, and the people, especially like my close circle, they're always going to be there, and it's like take this time to truly work on yourself and the personal growth and the personal development and be in LA. And then when you decide it's time to leave LA, leave with no regrets, leave with no like, man, I didn't have time to do this, that, or the other. Like, do everything, you know, and come back with no regrets at all. So that's kind of what I'm trying to like shift my mind to. But man, the challenges that I faced this year, even like, so like I said, I had a job that was fully remote in Houston. And so I decided like, man, we're working from home. I'm going to move to LA and, you know, just, I might as well, like, I'm not doing anything else and I have steady income. So I might as well. And then literally, bro, after like 2 weeks, I got there and my company sent an email to everybody saying like, we need everybody back in the office by the end of the month. And I was freaking out, bro. Like I signed my lease. I bought all this furniture. I dropped so much money into being in LA. And I was like, dang, like, what am I going to do? I can't afford, bro. LA is so expensive.
Right.
I cannot afford to be without a job. You know, I got a couple backup plans and, you know, other streams of income, but nothing major like that.
Right.
And so I started freaking out. But like every time I found a hurdle that I was able to overcome, it's growth there, you know. And I think that's what I ultimately asked for. I even told my brother and sister before I left, I was like, I fully expect to hit like a rock bottom in LA. You know, I fully expect that there's going to be times where I hate it and I'm ready to come home.
Right.
But it's just like overcoming those trials that's going to make you the strongest version of yourself. And that's what I'm kind of like hoping for now.
Exactly, bro. And like, dude, and I see that difference in you, bro. Like from before you left LA till now, like you see those like those hard times make the man stronger, like build your character, build your personality, like perseverance and all that stuff, bro. And like that's exactly what I learned too when I left home, because like at the end of the day, like we're men, like we, you know, need to continue to like grow. And sometimes though that growth is just being by yourself sometimes, like loving yourself, like knowing you more, because a lot of times us being around so many people, and you, like you said, you and I both love people. We love our communities, our friends. But those times when we're just by ourselves, that's when you get to know yourself more and more.
Yeah.
So, dude, props to you, bro. And to anyone that's like looking to get out of their parents' house, their hometown, do it. I mean, it's
for sure. I think it's so easy to get like, to just go through life and not think about it, right? I feel like in your hometown, you're just so comfortable doing the same thing, seeing the same people. And that's not like in a bad way that your people are like, you know, like those are the people you love spending time with them. But it's so easy for you to just like get lost in that and just like, you know, fall into that and never really self-reflect and never really like self-improve because you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do because you're with like everybody. So like LA was the first time that I really like, I'm spending all this time alone that I can really like be honest and real with myself and not have, you know, the people in my community like influence me. I don't mean for that to come off as like negative, but it's like, I'm not saying like people were telling me the wrong things or, you know, I just feel like I got to learn things for myself. I got to go experience it. If it's a loss, if it's an L, it's an L, you know, but I got to take that L. On the other side of that L is a W, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to learn from that. And so like, that's what I really had to go. Like now I'm really like, I found out what I'm about. I found out how I react when my back's against the wall and I have to perform. You know what I'm saying? I proved to myself that I'm like a lot more capable than I gave myself credit for. You know, I was never, we have it so cush in our hometowns, bro. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but like at our parents' house, you know, we don't really have any bills. We don't have anything crazy, you know, going on. It's not out until you get into the real world that you realize like what it really is, you know? And so I'm glad I got to like experience that because I would hate for me to be, you know, get to that point where like I'm married and having kids and that's when I'm realizing like what life really is. You know, I'm glad that I'm taking this time now before all that, that I can, you know, realize what life really is about and what is really out there.
For real, man. And that's a huge step in personal growth. I wanted to touch on your group of friends. So I've got to personally experience your friends. They're awesome, bro. Like I think we did like a little get together. I forgot. I think me, Roshni, who else, like Chris, then all those guys, we came through to Houston one day, just like kicking at your brother's house. And bro, like all your friends came through. Like we were like went to get some food, got some drinks. We were just hanging out, and then we came back to Ricky's place. Bro, like I got to
great time. I remember that.
Yeah, I always knew your you know your fan your I mean what is it, your family, your group of friends, but like I never got to really hang out with them like that. And dude, they are so much fun.
And bro, that's the craziest thing. Like we literally just told them that day, like, hey, our cousins are in town if y'all want to come hang out, and everybody just shows out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like it's so much love, and that's another thing that's a huge difference between Texas and California is what I'm realizing. You always hear about Southern hospitality. You don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until moving into California that like, bro, Southern hospitality is a thing. People in Texas, we look out for each other. Like we genuinely care for people without any hidden motives, any ulterior motives. Like
Right.
genuinely want the best for people. You know, we genuinely will just be friendly. You know, in LA, I'm not saying like people are like in New York, people are rude and they're blunt and they're to your face. They're honest, but they're rude and they come off blunt. In LA, people will smile to your face and be ready to like stab you in the back. And that's one thing that I had to learn. Like it's different. People move different out there, you know. And so that's what made me like appreciate home so much. And then, like you said, man, like going back to LA is what made me really like see who my true like friends are, bro. And like
Mhm.
I have the most appreciation for those people who have, you know, been there for me, and it really it shed a light on the people that like really care about me, look out for me, and
Yeah.
have an interest in seeing me win. You know, so shout outs to all the homies. Y'all know who y'all are, bro. Like I have a great group of friends.
Yeah, bro. I mean, shout out to them. Huge group of homies, right? So
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
all right, everybody. This is the part of the podcast where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. We have 5 questions. Throwing out to Jicky. I want to get your thoughts on it. Here we go. All right. First question. What is your favorite word?
Oh man, that's tough. No, Fandango, I guess.
Nice. You love the movies, eh? All right. What is your favorite sound or noise?
Oh, a perfect swish, like in on a basketball, perfect swish, most satisfying noise.
Nice.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Music, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite food?
Man, I have so many. You remember we went to Golden Corral for my birthday that year? That's the kind of guy I like to have a variety of
Right.
food, bro. Golden Corral is my spot. But my favorite food, man, like I've been on like this Japanese wave lately. So like steak, I cannot go wrong. Like steak is definitely my favorite protein. So but like Japanese cuisine is fire.
Bro, and the funny thing is, like, side note, like your birthdays were at Golden Corral, my birthdays were at Chili's. Like growing up, it was just like the same restaurant over and over again.
We really are cousins, bro.
Yeah. All right, last and final question. When you get to heaven and meet God, what would you like God to say to you?
You've done well, my good and faithful servant.
Ooh. All right, Jake. Before we close it up, let's tell the Backrow Boy fans out there, where can they find you? You know, what you got going on? Let us know real quick.
You can find me on IG. You can find me on that's the main platform. I want to get into TikTok as I hopefully progress with music more, but IG is where you're gonna find all my stuff. It's at Jicky K. Hopefully, you know, that's my goal in 2023 is to put out more content. So you have to look out for that, definitely. But yeah, appreciate all those who have supported. I promise you, like it does not go unseen, man. Like even if you reached out to me once, trust me, like I remember it. You know, I appreciate every single person that's ever showed love. Hopefully I can continue to make good music for y'all to enjoy.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys, you heard it here first. Mr. Jicky K in the building. Hey,
yes,
first
sir.
and foremost, to all the Backrow Boy fans out there, continue to like, subscribe, share this content. This was a great episode, great knowledge, great encouragement. And hey, pass it on to your friends. My name is Ebby Matthew. Thanks for joining us. Jicky, much love, boy. Thank you for joining us on this episode. And hey, until next time, thanks for always joining us in the back row.
Peace.
Peace.
She knew with her friends not too far away. Such a free spirit, she just wanna play. She can flip your mood from night to day. Watch the way her bangles ring when her body sway. Baby, she can talk that talk. Watch the way she walk that walk, yeah. Shawty, let me see you rock. Curly headed cutie, got this game on lock now. I think I found her. I wanna be around her. Don't think she knows me. I know all about her. Turns heads when she steps on scene. Come and put that body on me, yeah. Little mama, she my Bollywood queen. I'ma live my Bollywood dream, yeah. Meri mala mala, meri mala. Mana matwala kyun hua? Are meri mala mala, meri mala, meri mala. She's the only one I want for me. She's the one that I need. for them thick thighs. Curly hair, short shorts, and some thigh highs. Shawty got them cute dimples and them bright eyes. Slim waist, wide hips, and just the right size. And don't get me started on her inner beauty. Giggle when she laugh, man, she's such a cutie. She be trying to twerk, trying to pop that booty. But when she roll them hips, ooh. And I ain't really got no plan. I just wanna take your hand. And I'ma do all I can. I just wanna be your man. Wish you could see yourself through my eyes, so I could just make you realize, baby, you're the girl of my dreams. One day I'ma make you my wife. Baby, my